progress, buzz in progress. Okay, not a buzz. It is a local circling around the area. That could be like a tactic they use to harass, make it look like they're flying around looking for somebody. Look at this guy, man. This guy got nothing better to do on Saturday night, see? You don't see him out very much. Yeah, Saturday night, better make sure the poor people are in line. They just fly around here and flash their lights and stuff. Or is there really a suspect? Hard to tell. I can tell you one thing. I don't trust like I used to. So why is that guy over here now? He was over there. He was over in this area.
We turned to science and asked why, but it could not answer. So now we turn our eyes toward heaven and seek our comfort in God's infinite mercy.
All the pregnancies seem to date from the day of the blackout.
Oh no.
This is all because of that blackout, ain't it? Yeah. Why don't you just come out and say something?
They don't know that for sure, but I mean...
They are all going to be deformed!
There have been a few casualties. I should say accidents, suicides, that might be related to contact with the children. But no direct physical violence was involved.
And I remember, I'll swear on a stack of Bibles, I remember a lizard man in that office. It was His Highness Draco something. I can't remember the other name. And he was about 6 foot, 7 foot tall, had sort of like scaly skin, humanoid. He walked erect like we do. He had 2 arms, 2 legs. He had a tail, but it really didn't show most of the time. He had somewhat of a humanoid face, strange eyes, a big mouth, and, you know, looked like what you would expect if you're going to put together a lizard man. There was a being on Star Trek called the Gorn that Captain Kirk fought on this planet. This man that I worked next to sort of resembled that being. Now,
how did that strike you?
I didn't.
That would have to be a traumatic experience. No, not you.
I didn't have that much to do with it. I call it it. I'm not sure whether it was he or she, but I didn't have that much to do with it.
But you accepted his presence as something normal for.
What else do you do? You're working next to this thing.
True.
You know, it's, how are you? Hi, you know, that sort of thing.
Going for coffee and donuts?
Yeah.
He spoke in a hissy voice, you know, hissed a lot, and sort of sounded like he was loud whispering most of the time.
Buzz in progress, buzz in progress as I cross this intersection here. Here he comes, direct overhead, solid blue, maybe. Buzz in progress, direct overhead. A brief explanation of shapeshifting here. You can see more about it at my channel. What you're looking at is what I call demonic distortion, what I previously thought was reptilian shapeshifting. It doesn't mean that reptilian shapeshifting isn't going on and that there aren't physical shapeshifters. However, the majority of what you're seeing, especially with what I've captured, is what I call demonic distortion. I think they project the sound so that I can hear it coming. Here it comes. He's gonna do a flyby, like probably in this area right here, or a direct flyover. See my location. Okay, flying slowly by. That's the echo chamber. Security passing by as I enter in. Okay, so notice that security passing by right as you enter is a common tactic. This looks like paranoia and seeing things that aren't there until you experience it firsthand. And somehow, every time you come in, there's a security vehicle with flashing lights like you're a security threat.
In the police station, when he was being held down and the sergeant came over, he said the sergeant shapeshifted in front of him, turned into a reptile, and then came back to human, and then shapeshifted again and returned.
Okay, exiting the house buzz, black and white LAPD, just as I exit my RV. With me, you know me personally, that I can show you the microscope pictures that it does in fact work. If you want to see the results that I got and you want to compare results, yes, you would need to a microscope and all the stuff. I can show you what to do. It's actually not that hard if you have a microscope. So yeah, I couldn't figure out what this was. It's supposed to look like a plane, I guess, but if you look closer at it, there's something funky going on with it, but I don't know, maybe it's just a distortion.
It was just a spectacle to you.
Yes. In my opinion, the darkness and evil is within the people themselves. I didn't make the connection yet. So I was a guest in those circles, and it amused me greatly to see all those named women and the other things. But then at some point, I was invited, which is why I'm telling you all this, to participate in sacrifices abroad. That was the breaking point. Children.
You were asked to do that?
Yes. And I couldn't do that.
They will just rip into the victim and eviscerate them and start eating the flesh of this person too.
And how tall are they when they shapeshift?
They're just about 7 feet tall. Some are a little shorter, or to a foot shorter. Some are a little bit taller than 7 feet. The way that the reptilian the nose shapes into the snout at that point, and the jaw becomes the under part.
There are 1,833 of them that have been living underground between 100 and 200 miles beneath the surface. They've been here, some of them have been here a long, long time. They have lifespans that are thousands of years. They're carnivorous. They are not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. You know, and we've been told, you shouldn't talk about that. You know, there are other people say, well, you better not talk about the reptilians. Well, you know, bull. You know, why not? According to the Andromedans, they're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it because people don't want to hear it? That's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen?
Here, there are aliens that can control our minds and make us see what they want us to see. And one has to wonder if these hot alien women Bill worked with were in fact not just alien, but maybe reptilians or types that are not Nordics. Also, I read in the book Hell Testimonies by Mike Peralta, a witness says he sees a lineup of various types of demons, usually very ugly, but among them were beautiful women, whose purpose was to infiltrate the churches and corrupt the pastors in particular. Going for a flyby in the area here. Let's see what we got. Black and white LAPD. Wouldn't be a complete night without a flyby.
Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival.
Like black and white LAPD.
Outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. Our owners. They have us. They control us.
Look at the trajectory. Helicopter approaches as I'm putting on my pants. See, they know when you're putting on your pants. Look, check it out. And here he comes for a direct flyover. Look at this. Check it out. Your taxes. See that? Right when I got my pants down. Okay, so just recently I've ran into a couple of people, one who emailed me and one who actually put their card on my car. And these were TIs, and they've experienced all kinds of stuff. I checked them out a little bit, one more than the other one, because he didn't have his email or anything on his card, and so I just checked out his site. And I'm not going to name names here right now because it just basically I have a criticism, and I don't want to denigrate people unnecessarily, but they are in the category of TIs that I think become frantic and frazzled a little bit. They lose their ability, or they never understand that if you're showing things that you can't prove is gang stalking, if you're showing is just some little scene and then, you know, like somebody gets in front of you or something, and then you you don't explain it, you don't comment on it, or you do it as this one guy was doing it with just text, like a big thing of text that you have to sit there and read this text, and then that page goes by, and then another page full of text. You have to like listen to this guy explain about the scene, but the scene itself really isn't anything interesting, okay? Now, I realize it's more difficult for people to get this right, so I want to say that, you know, I don't mean to say that everybody has to have a lot of skill in making movies or whatever, you know, but you have to at least show something that looks like it's an event that is not a normal event, okay? Because otherwise, what happens is, what happened to me as a fellow TI who knows that this stuff is real, who knows that targeting is real, I'm looking at this and saying, this guy is, you know, just seeing things a bit that aren't there, okay? Like this, he films himself driving across the street and some lady runs out in front of his car, and he, you know, doesn't almost hit her, but, you know, kind of comes at her, and, you know, you can see where the person would be mad. She screams at him, and then, you know, he's making this out to be an event. Now, it may actually be a you know, demonic tactic. I'm aware of that, but if you're showing that in such a way that there's no context, and the other thing too is not showing his face, okay, that's really important. You gotta show your face. I mean, look at me, I ain't pretty. Look at my big nose, I'm skinny, I stutter my speech. You don't have to be, you know, beautiful and, you know, like worry that you're not gonna look as good as the people on TV. You know, you can just be the average dork like me, but, you know, you got to at least, because if you don't show your face, what's going to happen, okay? People aren't going to be able to picture what's happening here. It looks like you're not brave enough to go on camera and show your face. Now, I know it can be scary, but you get used to it, okay? You got to show your face on camera. Nasty as it may be, okay? Now, here's the thing. If what you're showing looks to the average person like you are just imagining things that aren't there, you're delusional paranoid, okay? Even if events really are demonic or even planned paid gang stalking events, you are doing more harm to your cause and to yourself than anything that these people are doing against you. When this guy's YouTube channel makes him look like a paranoid, delusional person, okay? I'm not going to associate with this guy. I did bother to email him and tell him what I thought, okay? And, you know, I tried to not be too offensive, but I had to be clear with him that, you know, I'm not going to associate myself with somebody who doesn't understand, doesn't get it, that you gotta be somewhat rational and showing something that looks like it's suspicious. I mean, even if it's not, you got to be able to, showmanship is part of it, okay? And if you don't make a watchable video, if you just make a video that looks like you're some jackass that just shows some guy, like he shows this one guy spitting, okay, and then he walks by, and then he makes this big deal of it, shows the text on the screen, or he explained a bunch of that beforehand. Oh yeah, it's this, you know, that's the thing, and it's a black guy, and yeah, it's a color attack and all this shit. I mean, the average person looking at that, even a TI like myself looking at that, thinks that he's connecting dots that aren't there. So he looks crazy, looks like he's kind of frazzled, and the thing is, I know that he may not be. I know that TIs that say some of this stuff, they're telling the truth. But another thing about this is that, and a guy made a video about this, and he did a pretty good job, except he didn't show his face, but he explained that a lot of the events that he was experiencing was demonic trickery in his own mind. Okay, now he thought it was, well, no, okay, let me correct that. He thought it was directed energy weapons that were controlling his mind to think that certain things were true. And what he doesn't understand is the demonic. He doesn't believe in God's word. He doesn't understand. He doesn't know that demons are real. They're living in us, and they can cause us to become aware of something that they can have other demons do, or even just a random event. It's a perfect way to continue to drive somebody crazy, just by having them suddenly notice something, and it wasn't even an exterior event. So, in any case, even if that's going on, you've got to be able to realize when something doesn't look like an event and leave it out. Or compile it with a comparison of other similar events, then show your face on camera and communicate clearly, okay? Edit it without these big long pauses where you're not saying anything. You gotta have some understanding of making a watchable video. Otherwise, you just look like a crazy idiot. I mean, I just told this guy, I'm an idiot too, but at least I put together a movie that looks somewhat possibly believable and watchable to the person who has never seen this before, or somebody who is, there might be open-minded that maybe you're telling the truth, maybe this isn't mental delusion. Because I think what happens is a lot of TIs, after they get harassed up to a certain point, they do lose it. They do start imagining things that aren't there. I mean, these people that I just recently interacted with, I mean, there was just a lack of sense of realizing how to communicate. That's the theme that I notice with a lot of these TIs. Now, some people are better at it than others, but there's a lot of these people. They are tortured. They have all this stuff. They have, death, assassination attempts, like I've had, and serious stuff. But they can't communicate with other TIs. This is the biggest problem I've had. I mean, I've made another video about this, but you try to communicate and work with other TIs, and boy, what a potload of shit you run into, okay? Because, first of all, Satan's gonna see you coming way ahead of time, and so he'll plant, he'll have set up just the right offense. They could be using the demons in you to offend them, and vice versa. But even if any of that isn't going on, then you have people that just don't know how to be reasonable in their communication. Okay, this other guy that contacted me, first he sends me these, long audio tapes, that I gotta, you're supposed to, without any introduction of who he was and what he was doing and what he was talking about, or anything that I could really judge whether he was just a complete nutcase or not, just sends me these things. Okay, so I listened to it for a little bit. I listened for like, maybe a minute, and there was nothing interesting. So I go, okay, click. Just nothing stands out as being interesting. And here's a Christian jump, praise Jesus, blah, 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 blah. But if it's not, if he's not saying something interesting, okay, something that makes you think that there's some brains involved, or some sort of interesting information, or something from somebody who is saying something worth listening to, then you got to move on. Because I get tons of email and crap from all kinds of people, which, by the way, maybe I got to turn the comments back on, because I'm getting more email from idiots. So maybe it's kind of an idiot filter. I don't know. I'm just going to have to see. But in any case, you gotta communicate, guys. I mean, I know a lot of you don't dare say anything, and you're smart, and I don't blame you for that. But a lot of people that do contact me, they just don't have a sense of explaining who they are and what they want. And so this guy, and just to get back to that, I digressed a little bit. This guy, emails me these long audio tapes, and then I didn't listen to him. Then I kind of forgot about him, and then all of a sudden I get this other email a little while later, and it's like this big long list of links and text and stuff, and I couldn't even like make out what it was. Something about health or something. And I didn't even know who it was from. I forgot who the guy was, and so then I said, well, who is this? What is all this stuff? And he says, oh, this is I'm trying to help you improve your site. I'm, praise Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but, all right, but, you're sending me all this stuff, a big list of links and text and stuff. There's nothing in it that introduces what it is, or what it's for, or what it's good for, or anything. And like, I'm supposed to look at this and know what it is. I mean, it's just incoherent, okay? That's what I'm saying. People are communicating in an incoherent fashion. So, maybe there is some good, interesting health information or something else in what he sent me, But I don't know if it's from an idiot or not because, or I'm beginning to think it is from an idiot because there's no introduction. There's no, hi, my name is such and such, and I got this information, Richard. I saw your YouTube channel. I thought maybe you might find it interesting. And I checked some of the links below. You know, if you want to check out the more interesting stuff, scroll down, blah, blah, blah. So he just sends the links in a bunch of text, okay? And there's no introduction. It's like I couldn't even make out exactly what all it was that this was about. So I had to tell him that, hey, I don't know what this is. I don't know who it's from. I don't know what to do about it. Okay, so and then he gets all pissed off. Oh, you're not a real TI. I've had death threats against me. Okay, so it's important. I tried my best to tell him that you gotta introduce yourself. You gotta say who you are, what this is about, why this might be interesting to you, because you got to understand, people like me, if you have a YouTube channel with any following, you just get blasted by the world of idiots, and you don't have time to listen to them all. I got people all the time, they don't talk to me right away. One sign I know that somebody is just hardly worth talking to. I mean, I can't tell for sure, but I mean, every single time is, you gotta talk to me right away. You want to talk to me on the phone right away? Oh yeah, I'm going to give them my phone number that they can keep calling or give to other people or something else. Hell no. I get my phone number screwed up on a regular basis. I have to change my phone number. So I'm not giving it out to nobody. So I say, look, I want to email back and forth. And then you can positively tell it's going to be a mindless idiot that wants to waste your time if they say, no, I don't want email. I just want to talk on the phone. Because they're incoherent. They can't write out a coherent sentence and sound like an intelligent person that you might actually have some profit from dealing with. We're getting a buzz, Black and white LAPD coming around. All right, so what I think is cool is you got the school right here, Canoga Park Hunters, at the school, and then you got in here, you got the gun shop right next door. All ready to go. Whole lineup. They even got a high-powered assault, long-range sniper rifle in there. 12 gauges and everything, all set. What a world, huh? Helicopter coming around. Direct flyover. Public intersection area. That's your gray and blue LAPD. Turning off again. So you'll notice that he turned like that and did a direct flyover like this, and then heads off in that direction. There he is still. Helicopter coming around. Direct flyover, direct flyover. Public intersection area. That's your gray and blue LAPD.
I know your game. I know what you're up to. Ever since you got here, I've been watching. Watching people leave this town. Watching things die. You ain't right. None of you. One of these days, somebody's gonna do something about it.
Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Helicopter flying overhead, direct overhead.
Mark Richards talks about the raptors as being a group of reptilians that went off planet after the dinosaurs. You know that when they said the dinosaurs went extinct, they didn't actually go extinct, but
Yeah.
there a certain group of them, from what I understand, went underground and stayed
Yes.
here, and then a certain group actually left the planet, and they're called the raptors. Have you ever heard about the raptors?
I've only heard what you've just said. Okay, but
And that they have aligned themselves now with our Navy and Air Force. They're closest to the Air Force, and that they're working with us because their queen was basically told, in essence, that their trajectory of their race would be more positive if they align themselves with humans in a positive way instead of continuing to eat us, continuing to eat us, continuing to eat us, continuing to eat us.
This is a buzz, this is a buzz. This is a buzz, this is a buzz.
The United States has long been overrun. If you're not aware of this, you are clearly in a coma. If you're an American so-called red-blooded patriot, something the fuck is wrong with you. Your Constitution has been completely and totally defiled and destroyed. It literally is no more valuable than the toilet paper you're wiping your ass with when you go to take a shit. It is that bad. And guess what? Your country is totally run by Jewish supremacists, Talmudic, pedophile, satanic, bankster cultists. Literally. That is who owns your country.
Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Direct overhead. Direct overhead. Your taxes for psychological warfare for uploading Reptilian shapeshifter movies. Once he's gone over, then he turns off. You can see. Flies directly overhead, then turns off.
You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything, the whole goddamn planet. They can do whatever they want.
Okay, got another direct flyover, so you can see. Another flyover. Could it be a direct flyover? Notice the path is a direct overhead. direct overhead. I'm pointing straight up at this time. And he passes over. I wonder if it's a hologram.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion.
Helicopter flying overhead.
The national toll per year is in the thousands every year. Kids die violently because of this.
And one of the primary sources of loosh, which is emotional energy that they feed on, the humans are a hybrid creation that gave off the best and the most pure form of loosh. Loosh being emotional energy that provides food for this, whatever it is, reptilians or whatever, that within the human experience, the finest and the most pure form of loosh came from pre-adolescent children. In satanic rituals, that pre-adolescent children are used primarily in certain satanic rituals. Because of they give off the most pure form of emotional terror that you can imagine. From our point of view, it's perverse. From their point of view, it's filet mignon. This is the best form of food that we can get, and it's like
saying that to me. This is how we eat.
Right. This is how we eat. This is how they eat.
It's like that makes it all okay.
But children are primary source of food.
At the inner ring of the Pentagon, and that's where it really started for me, being a target of directed energy weapons. And when I really found out about it, and then that, they would broadcast movies into her head, they would broadcast sounds, all kinds of torture under a program financed by the NSA. And now we're trying to get baby Amethyst, because they make money out of every baby that they capture. They have covert teams inside of hospitals now that target vulnerable mothers, and then they consign the mother to psychiatric, and they put the baby up for adoption. They make money on the baby, and then the baby goes into the pedophile rings. Yeah, that's how they do it. And it's a business. And this is part of the outgrowth of the Greada Treaty. It's become commercialized and sanctioned by the highest governments in the world, which is the shadow government operating through the presidency of the United States. And it comes down like that, and the United States government has a quota of children. Every government has a covert quota of children.
Ed said, I understood that manufacturing using those thugs from Cicero to back him up. Well, just as they disappeared, both of them turned into reptilians. The tall one, with no sound, yelled back, his face twisted with hate, while the other one appeared to hiss. Yes, Bill, just for a moment, I think the tall one clawed at us too. Did you see their grotesque-looking feet? Okay, so I'd like to report that on March 2nd, that is last night at 11:30 p.m., I got a night attack. So that's at around 11:30 p.m. I was woken up because I go to bed early. To wake up early works out better when you live in your RV, I found. In any case, they woke me up, and it was like a definite, like multiple approaches, zoomings, and then hovering over my place to the point where I, put on my headphones. By the way, that's a great tool to have. If you don't have them, is to wear get a thick pair of Peltor 3M earmuffs to block out sound in case you get attacked that way. This lifeguard helicopter zoomed by just as I exited my vehicle. I come up here to shoot, and you can bet there'll be more. Okay, there he is. See a slow approach. He's got to come and inspect the area. See, why has he always got to fly over this area? They know I'm out here filming. You think they aren't watching my channel to see how they look on TV?
He said the sergeant shapeshifted in front of him, turned into a reptile, and then came back to human, and then shapeshifted again and returned.
Another mysterious shapeshift where it looks like his middle finger turns into a short stubby thing with a claw, and you'll see that in just a second. It's like it sticks out, but it's like this little tiny stubby thing. And then here in this next frame, the next frame coming up, you'll see a little nail will stick out. See, look at that little nail sticking out of there. It's really weird. I mean, it wasn't there a few frames ago, and then all of a sudden it's sticking out, and that's probably the beginning of his real hand, or his reptilian form hand, you might say. Buzz in progress, buzz in progress. Here it comes, direct overhead, folks. Your taxes for psychological warfare, harassment, for uploading reptilian shapeshifter movies to YouTube. You betcha. That's where your taxes are going, friends. Yep. You don't think they're doing this directly at me? Think again. That's exactly what they do. So you got this guy, Kevin Perlman, and you can see he's passing out cards in this whole Woodland Hills area. That shows they got targeting going on. Buzz is buzz. Got the approach noise. Your taxes for psychological warfare for uploading material to YouTube, showing non-humans, which means that non-humans are behind it.
Then why can't we just live together?
If we coexist, we shall dominate you. That is inevitable. Eventually, you will try to eliminate us. We are all creatures of the life force. Now it has set us at one another to see who will survive.
That's a cruel sport.
Life is cruelty. We all feed on each other, exploit each other in some way to survive.
I don't agree with you. I think that adaptation is the key to survival. Cooperation, and symbiosis, and compassion.
Why do you think your own survival depends upon emotion from us? Should we pity you? Empathize with your plight?
You should feel! You should feel something! Without feelings, you're nothing. You're just second-rate mimics of a higher organism. That's right, a higher organism. We're your superiors in our capacity to love. Without compassion, you're a doomed species.
There he is approaching again. Go for another buzz. Ah, very intimidating. Must be somebody doing something wrong around here. Yeah, I'm sure there's a criminal in this area. He's acting up and needs to make the point that LAPD helicopters circling around this area on a continual basis is an intimidation away from behaving in illegal ways. See, I wonder what causes that guy to be doing that. Because I mean, there is continuous circling around this whole area here.
I'm not familiar enough with.
But you do know that reptilians and Draco, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten, the kids being killed and eaten, the kids being killed and eaten, the kids being killed and eaten. I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet. Humans have been eaten and taken off planet. Humans have been eaten and taken off planet, etc., etc., and used for slaves in other colonies, and used for slaves in other colonies, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said. That's far worse than what you've just said.
Humans are not protecting themselves. They're not protected. And so if you don't warn them, you're culpable. The next time somebody gets snatched and eaten or taken away, or their child, and I'm more concerned about the children, obviously, than anything else.
That's That's it. That's what.
And so that's my statement. My statement is, I care about the children, and I want to protect the children. How can you protect a child? You must tell them. You must tell their parents what's happening, what's really going on this planet. And it's about time we humans are able to protect ourselves. There's a lot of New Agers out there who want nothing but to believe that there's ETs, definitely, but they're all hearts and flowers and good guys.
Right. Yes.
And this is such a dangerous thing to put out there.
And as I can see inside the rivers, I can see these little eyes looking up at me. And it almost appeared that as they were going up and down, it was like they were chained up together and they were walking, going up and down as they wanted to get out. but you could hear their screams, and you can see them reaching out with their hands. You can see the skeleton. And then God knows the thoughts before we think them. So these are the words that I would receive. Those were the lesbians. Those were the homosexuals. These are the gay men that were chained up together, walking in these rivers of fire. Some of them wanted out, but it was too late. And as we go, and as I'm going, I'm walking through this road, and all this fire and all these rivers. And I start seeing a lot of crosses and fire all over the place. And you see demons poking their privates with these swords, poking their privates all the way in and coming out through their chests in different directions. But they start in through their privates. Those were the people that had that were changed up, that they were in that curse, that they could not get out of pornography, masturbation, sexual desires that the enemy will bring to them. And let me tell you something that demons will tell them, will speak in there. Demons call us, we're stupid humans. That's the way they talk. That's the way they think of us, that we're stupid because we're so dumb to listen to every little lie.
If you're watching this, it's not too late. Say this prayer now. Father in heaven, save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.
Our technology has now developed a transmitter strong enough to reach your conscious state of awareness. But this is not a dream.